Hello everyone, my name is Putty. Welcome back to the difficult terrain, the Admand expedition. I am joined by Admand himself, Marshall Pearson. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Just fantastic. What can I say? I'm a positive person. But before we went online, we were talking about Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yep.
And
as we often do at the start of these shows.
as we often do. And something I was going to bring up is my only knowledge of the later Yu-Gi-Oh shows, other than maybe the first couple of episodes of the second show. What's the second show? It's like where they're...
GX.
So I had seen a couple of the episodes of GX, but after that, I had no knowledge of that show. And then I had never seen a single episode of the third show, the one where they're riding bikes and like... But I remember you told me that show is actually quite good.
Yeah, that's my favorite one, 5Ds.
Like the actual, not just the abridged, but the actual...
Yeah, I don't think there is an abridged, at least not one.
There's not an abridged? They never did that?
I'm sure some people have done it, but there's never been a popular one that I know of.
Yeah.
That one's really good. That one is a rough translation, though. GX has this, though, where the first, 3 seasons got translated, and then the fourth one was really weird, and they just said, fuck it, we'll move on to 5Ds instead. So the last season of GX has just never been translated.
Oh, so it's just in subtitles?
Yeah.
Damn.
Maybe it has non-English translations, but it doesn't have an English translation.
Okay. And then you said the third show is also not well translated?
It's pretty... I actually think they did a respectable job, considering how hard it must have been to translate. But yeah, I mean, you lose a lot, because it's pretty dark in the original Japanese.
And have there been any shows since then?
Yeah, there's been 4.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there was Arc V,
I had no idea.
And then Zexel, and then Vrains, and then Rush.
Holy
I think.
Shit!
Yeah,
okay, I was about to say, is our world ready for another Yu-Gi-Oh show? And apparently the answer is
they just keep going. Yeah, and also, so I haven't watched any of them aside from clips, but they actually kind of follow the rules now. And I'm told that they do real cool duels, that you would be able to do in real life.
That kind of makes sense, because if you think the people that worked on the original show and maybe the first couple of shows, they were writing executives that were hired and they had never heard of this fucking game, I bet, and they're like, oh shit, and they probably barely glanced at the rules and wrote a show. Whereas now you've probably got writers that grew up with the game, and maybe played it. Maybe they're not hardcore players, but they probably understand the rules. And so I think that makes sense. That's cool though, man. That makes me want to watch it. So you can study the show to get better at the game. See, that was my problem when I was little. I'd watch the show. And then when I brought those tactics into the game, people said that's not how the game works. You can't attack spells with monsters.
You can't attack the moon.
You can't attack the moon. The card doesn't say that. And I say, no, it does say that in the show.
With no monsters on the field, I'll summon the Dark Magician and attack you for game.
Also when I was really little, because I started playing it when I was I started getting I didn't seriously play it at this time, but I started getting cards when I was 6 or 7, and I had no fucking clue how it worked.
Yep.
And literally, the descriptive text?
Yep.
It'll say the red dragon,
the ultimate wizard in terms of attack and defense.
I would read those as the rules.
Yeah.
And I would go, bro, this card's... It would be a really weak card, and I'd say, it says it's the god of all firebirds.
I think there's a card, I think it's Insect Knight, that says you cannot ignore this insect's mighty battle prowess.
And so you could be you have to attack him, right?
Well, Blue Eyes, I think Blue Eyes says it's invincible in the card text, so I guess it just can't die. It's just, it cannot be destroyed by artifacts.
And there's a part of me to this day that wants to do that with spells in role-playing games, because all spells in 5e or Pathfinder, most of these games have descriptive text that's not meant to be read as rules guidance. And a part of me always wants to be nah, we're gonna just fucking fly by the hip and interpret the spell. And so I will say sometimes with a few spells where the rules actually don't make sense, or like there's a conflict or something comes up, I have used the descriptive test to kind of give me an idea of what the spell is supposed to seem like. So it is useful. But anyway, those were the good old days.
They just released a set this week in Yu-Gi-Oh! It was mainly focused on reprinting old cards. Old cards that are like iconic and nostalgic and used in older formats. Because those older formats are now becoming very popular because they're officially supported finally. I'll
have to.
Yeah, I basically finished as the Edison decks I was telling you about it a few weeks ago. So I've got, I think it's 3 cards for each deck I still need, and then I'll have 2 decks from the 2010 format that can play against each other.
I'll have to look into that. At the very least, for just nostalgia, to get a couple packs of those. I also am now, the next time I'm in a game store, I'm gonna look and see if they have the Magic Fallout cards, because those were cool. Those were really. I was looking more at them, and you're right. The Caesar's Legion pack seems to be the one to go. It has the most New Vegas-y stuff. But yeah, really cool references. Well researched. And yeah, I don't know. I was just really happy with that. Like, they had the Battle for Hoover Dam card. I was like, fuck yeah, that's awesome.
It's funny you mention that, because this week I thought about those again, because I've been watching some Commander games. And I was like, oh yeah, there's Fallout Commander decks. So I went and I just watched some people playing with the Fallout Commander decks. That was cool.
Oh, yeah. Cool. So you said before we went on that a game we're both going to play has disappointed you.
Yeah, because, so it's Avowed. I assume.
Oh, okay. Yeah, almost certainly. Well, unless this is very disappointing. I don't know.
No. Not really about the game. It's just, I thought it was, and I think it was originally slated to be coming out around now, but I hadn't really been following it. And then I got an email the other day that was like, "Oh, Avowed is coming to Battle.net," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. I can buy it with my WoW Gold." And it was like February.
That is weird that it's coming to Battle.net. Oh, I guess because Blizzard's owned by Microsoft now, right?
Yes.
And Avowed is Obsidian's owned by Microsoft, so everything's just, I guess, cross-contaminating now. Okay. Wait, so when did you say it's coming out?
February.
I'd
rather it be delayed than released unfinished, but I was kind of like, oh, I was expecting to play it soon.
I believe fortunately I did know that it was coming out Q1. I think I saw a trailer like a few months ago where they said that. I'm kind of that mind too. I'm in a place in my life where I am never desperate to need a new game to play. I've got a lot of things.
For me, especially since there's another new version of WoW coming out next week.
Oh my god.
They're doing classic. What the fuck?
Dude, what is going on over there? They're smoking crack. This is classic. It's like pocket dimensions within pocket dimensions. It's the multiverse. This is bizarre.
If you count hardcore as a separate version of the game, there are going to be 7 versions of WoW by the end of next week.
I think normies do not realize this. I don't think
so either.
I didn't know until you told me how many there were. I thought that there were 2 versions. I thought that there was WoW and WoW Classic, because I had heard about Classic, but I didn't realize they kept releasing different versions of Classic. And
last year they did a different version of retail WoW, of modern WoW. Last year, for a short period, there were 2 versions of modern WoW you could play.
Wow. What's the best? What's the best WoW?
For who?
I don't even know. I don't know anymore. But
what's my favorite version? What would I recommend?
This product has already exited the convenience of the average consumer. Like, if you go into a store and you're like, "What's the best headset for me?" It's like, I don't even know how to answer that question.
Well, no. If you tell me what things you're looking for, I could answer the question. But you're right that WoW is not a video game. It's a video game franchise. It's a
sure. You know. I'll say. What's the best WoW for? Okay, I'll give you 2 questions. Yep. One, what's the best because one of the things I was going to ask is like, what's the? Oh, actually, I'll ask you 3. Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Here we go. First, what's the best WoW for a WoW fanatic?
Oh, you're breaking up. I'll wait till you're back and I'll
their whole life. What's
wait, hold on. Okay. You're still frozen on your camera. Okay. Okay. Now I'm gonna switch us to US East real quick. Alright, I think we're back now. Okay, can you start your questions again? You go
Question
through
1.
Yeah, go ahead.
What's the best WoW for a WoW fanatic? Someone who's loved the game their whole life. Question 2.
Wait, hold on. Let me take them one by one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the WoW Fanatic one. So that is I think too broad because like for one, I think the WoW Fanatic would know which version they'd want to play, and I think you can be like a WoW Fanatic who really loves Cataclysm, and for them it's WoW Cata and it's Classic Cata. Sorry.
Okay.
If it's someone who really likes like Mythic new content and Mythic raiding, then it's modern WoW. If you really like pet battles and things like that, it's modern WoW. If you really like RPGs, it's probably one of the vanilla versions. You know, I think that's harder to answer because you could be a fanatic about all different types of
WoW. Okay. So the second question is, what is the best WoW for someone who is very casual and they haven't played many MMOs before and they're just getting in?
Classic Fresh Vanilla that's coming out next week.
Oh, wow. Wait, they didn't... So, okay, and so, before I ask my third question, is the idea that, right, they start Classic, they start it fresh, it progresses down the chain of expansions, and then people are like, I want it fresh again, and so they start a new fresh while this one's a few expansions ahead, and they keep that kind of worm going? Isn't that the idea?
So, the Classic that's coming out next week.
Classic.
We've got it confirmed that it's going to go into the first expansion, the Burning Crusade. Now, there have been a lot of people, myself included, who have recently wanted to do TBC because the Burning Crusade, because I missed it. That's why I want to do it. And lots of people didn't miss it, but really liked TBC and want to go back and do it again. Because there's sort of this state where, like, if you want to play Cataclysm, there's Classic. If you want to play Vanilla, there's so many different versions of Vanilla they do now. But if you like Burning Crusade, or even if you like Wrath of the Lich King, which actually not a lot of people really liked that the second time around, from what I heard. But you know, a lot of people who've never played Wrath of the Lich King want to play Wrath of the Lich King, or people who played it, 15 years ago and didn't play the new one. Maybe they like anyway. Wrath, TBC, and Vanilla always have fans that want to play them. So it is my expectation that this classic will go Vanilla, TBC, Wrath, and then end. And maybe we go back to Vanilla again.
End and literally end, or stay in stasis there?
Stay in stasis, stay in stasis in what they call era servers. Go back. But,
this is a very...
Can I finish? Because there is a theory that some people have, some smart people, some connected people, that you're right, that this new relaunch of Classic will keep going again through Kata and Mop and all that. And I think that would be ridiculous. I think that would be too much, because to have basically 3 different permanently progressive versions of the game, I just don't see the point of that. I don't know who in 2 years' time is going to be like, I want to play Kata again, right? Like, it's just like, no, like, if you want to play Kata, you could come and play it right now. There's not that many people who want to keep playing Kata. There really isn't. There's barely any people who want to play Kata right now. So, there's not a lot of people who want to keep playing Kata. And I think it's going to be the same with Mop. Right now, everyone wants to play Mop because they haven't re-released it yet. But in a year's time, when they've played Mop, they're like, okay, I don't want to do this again. So I would be really shocked if these servers go past Wrath. But the original trilogy, I could see them going through permanently, because those versions are unique in a lot of ways.
Here's an ignorant question, because I assumed that the way MMOs worked, and this was my experience with how they worked, is that you could, like for example, if I'm playing Star Wars, the Old Republic, which I've played that a little bit. When I jumped into that game, at the time they had these they were really pushing the expansions that had to do with the Emperor and that sort of thing, and the same person that featured heavily in our games. Um, but when you start the game, you still can play through all of the old content. Is that not how, like, if I go out now, can I play old expansions on it? Is that just gone?
Okay, you're breaking up a little bit, but I think I got most of it. It's basically like, is all the old content there in modern WoW, and you can just play it again?
Yeah.
It's a complicated question to answer. The short answer is that you would experience, if the stuff that is there, you will experience in a vastly different way nowadays. There's a big difference between doing dailies for relevant gear upgrades with the whole server doing it at the same time, and going back on your own and doing old content just for fun or for cosmetics and things like that. Also, WoW is such a massive game. We're talking about a game that has like 10 expansions now, that the way content has been balanced has changed to the point where, like,
old stuff sucks now.
Old stuff sucks for sure. And it's like you go and you do a quest that was designed, this boss fight was designed to take 3 minutes and it might take like 10 seconds. Or it was designed to take like 10 seconds and now it takes like 3 minutes, right? Both of those are not great things. And that happens. And the content was designed around a game that no longer exists. There is also, more directly, an answer. In the Cataclysm expansion, which I've talked about already today, they redid the 1 to 60 content. So the original vanilla zones, they just changed them all completely. And in modern WoW, you can't go and do those original 1 to 60 zones. They're just gone.
Okay.
So this is one of the things with WoW that like a lot of fans have mentioned, and sometimes the devs have acted on, is that there's so much content there in terms of like zones and enemies and stories that they just don't use anymore. They revamped the leveling experience a few years ago because they were like, we don't want people to sit through 10 expansions worth of content to get to the end game. So now you can sort of pick and choose, and it's a little faster. So there are a lot of zones that people probably just don't play anymore. And yeah, so it's certainly, and the game changes. Like I said, you can't play the Burning Crusade era shaman in modern WoW. The shaman just doesn't play like that anymore. There's some specs. You have subclasses, specs in WoW. The combat rogue doesn't exist anymore. They removed it from the game and they added one called Outlaw Rogue instead. The survival tree, which used to be a range tree for hunter, is now a melee spec. So it's just completely different. So it's a complicated answer, but the short answer is no. If you're looking to play anything other than the most recent content in WoW, it's pretty hard for it to be fulfilling, in my opinion.
Okay. My last question. What's the best WoW for a connoisseur of MMOs? But not necessarily specifically a WoW fanatic. So someone that has played a lot of different MMOs. Maybe they've played, for example, Final Fantasy. They've played Star Wars: The Old Republic, and they really like a lot of different MMOs. What version of WoW is going to appeal most to someone like that?
My instinct is modern WoW, because I think if you're a connoisseur of MMOs, especially the ones that you mentioned, Final Fantasy, Elder Scrolls Online, Guild Wars, those kind of popular recent MMOs. I think going and trying to play a classic version of WoW will feel off to you, because you'll essentially be like, oh man, none of the lessons from these recent MMOs have been learned in this game at all. Yeah. And so like I think it does depend, but I think if you're like, I really like a lot of MMOs and I want to try another one, I think WoW is the modern WoW is the place to go. But I don't necessarily think modern WoW is an amazing game. So it's like, part of me says classic, because at least then you'll be seeing something that was truly special. That there's a reason why it took off in the way that it did. But
it's also a weird example. It's a weird example of someone that's a MMO connoisseur but hasn't played WoW. Like, that's kind of a strange setup from the beginning. But I was just curious. Okay,
cool. I think it's modern WoW. I think you'd be too. if you've played a bunch of modern recent MMOs, you'd be too, and I feel like this is dismissive, but I can't find a better word. You'd be too coddled by modern MMO design not to be freaked out when you go back to classic.
I know exactly what you mean. I mean, that's true for. That's not just an MMO thing. That's just a video game thing. Yeah. My thought is, if you were there when it happened, you'll get it. And if you weren't, there's a very good chance that you will find it unplayable. And this has been like I have tried to get new people to play New Vegas, and it has been a spotty process at best. Some of them have really loved it, but a lot of people now, especially if people are a few years younger than me, they are like, they'll start it up and they're like, I don't even know how to fucking play this garbage. Like, because it doesn't coddle you. It doesn't have some of the features that they're used to. And for whatever reason, and also New Vegas is a game that doesn't hold your hand in general. Like, you have to pay attention. And like, I had a friend once that I got him to try it. It was a friend that loved Skyrim, and he played Skyrim a lot. And I was like, okay, you should play New Vegas. And he tried New Vegas. And he said that he came back to me like a week later and he's like, that game sucks. I can't even get like an hour into the game without dying. And I'm like, what? He goes, they told me to go to New Vegas and I just keep going north and I just keep getting annihilated by death balls. And I was like, that's funny as fuck. They literally told you not to do that. He goes, who? I'm like, the people in the town. Did you listen to them? He goes, oh no, I just like fucking skipped everything.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well then I don't know how to help you. you have to listen to people. And so I think like, but that has been a common experience where I've had people play some of the old games that I loved growing up and they have found them unplayable. But I have had the experience too. I've tried getting into the original Deus Ex.
I was going to give that exact example of a game that's perfect for what you're saying. I have
bounced off it so hard every time. And I know that it's one of the best role-playing games ever made. And I know that there's like a remaster mod version of it, and maybe I need to play that.
I haven't played that.
But I have bounced hard off the original so many times. And I've given up. It's too arcane to me to sort of enjoy. And I think that that's a common experience, but
I think you're 100% right. And I think for all of its understandable flaws, the two modern games, they keep the spirit of the series, they keep the spirit of the game, and they're so much easier to get into.
Yeah. Much easier to get into and still challenging. Like, like, I mean, that's something nice about that. They don't it's like, they don't really hold your hand too much. It's not, so you do get some of that kind of, old school experience, but it's a little more approachable. The HUDs and everything, everything's a little cleaner and if you're used to modern game design. But yeah, I think that, the same thing I tried to get someone asked me what was the first game I ever played, and I said Half-Life. He's like, oh, I'll try it. And I'm like, oh, I don't know if you want to try it. Because I was like, Half-Life 1, and he tried it, and he was like, that was so dumb. That game was terrible. And I'm like, well, it's really old now.
I did warn you.
Like, when I was little, it was the best game I'd ever played. Was the first game I played, but like for a while it was the best game I had ever played because it was so, it was so cool at the time. The graphics were amazing at the time. But no, now if you play it, it looks really weird and it won't have a lot of features that people are used to.
Before I move on to my tangential topic you've just triggered in me, I want to say that like all these experiences, I think they are really common, but there are some people, it's still worth pointing out, even with these arcane games, who will just click with them. Like, I'm one of those people. When Classic came out in 2019, I had never played vanilla, and I thought I was going to hate it. I thought that all of these like quality of life pullbacks and all of the slow class design, the friction, that's a word I've really enjoyed coming to terms with WoW Classic. Is, WoW Classic has a lot of friction. You can't just do things. There's a lot of steps to doing things. There's a lot of like, okay, I've got to go back to town because my bags are too small, or I got to go back to town because I need to get ammo for my weapon, which is not a thing in modern WoW. And And I thought I would hate it, and I kind of like made fun of it, like a lot of my friends did. And then I played it, and I loved it, and I'm still playing Classic now, and it's probably my favorite version of WoW. So there are some versions of and there's a lot of people when Classic came out who were way too young to have played Vanilla, and now they're playing Classic as their main version of the game. So I think it's I think. And there's lots of people, I'm sure, who found Deus Ex in the last 5-10 years, and they're like, man, this is a great game, amazing, and I can get into it, and the same probably with Half-Life. But it's an awkward thing, I think, where it's like, I think some people probably with some help and guidance could overcome that bounce off, but like some people, that help and guidance is going to ruin the experience as well. So it's a tricky one.
Yeah. Well, and I was going to say, I also think sometimes trying it a few times does genuinely help. Like I bounced off of the original Doom several times, and then recently I picked it up randomly on a whim, and I completed the whole first world, which was like 10 levels. I was very happy with that. And then I started playing the second world, and it was way harder, and I was like, I don't know about this, but but it is. It took me a long time to figure out how to kind of approach a game like that, and I don't know why. But I think a lot of games are like that, where you might just need to, or at least I need to kind of suffer a little bit before I can understand it. I need to kind of smack my head against it a little bit.
I think two things on that as well. One is, I think sometimes playing a different game from the series or the genre can also unstuck you a little bit. This was me with Pillars of Eternity, which I bounced off a bunch of times, and then finally I played Pillars of Eternity 2, and I played a shit out of that game. And then I find this with a lot of Pokemon games. When they first come out, like Black and White was a good one. I really didn't like Black and White when it first came out, and then I went back to it years later with new knowledge and new understanding of the series, and now it's one of my favorite games in the series.
Yeah. I think that has been my experience with, you mentioned Pillars 2. That's kind of been my experience with isometric RPGs in general. When I used to play them, I didn't get them. I didn't really understand the hype, and I found them kind of boring. And maybe it's just because now I've played so many in-person table, or not necessarily in person, they could be online, but so many tabletop role-playing games that now I find it very easy to pick up even old isometric RPGs. So like I need to finish it. I fell out of it, but I got like 2/3 of the way through the original Baldur's Gate, the enhanced edition.
Yeah.
But that is an old goddamn game, and I think that if I had played that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would have bounced off it instantly. I would not have enjoyed it at all. But because like I understand more about the underlying tabletop game that they built it off of, I'm able to enjoy it a lot more, and I have a little more patience for it and that sort of thing. So I think that, most isometric RPGs now I find much more approachable than I did five years ago, when I honestly couldn't get through them at all. Pillars 1 was the only game that I had gotten even a few levels into of that sort of class of games. And then one day I picked up, like 2 years ago, I picked up Wasteland 2, and it clicked. I played the whole thing, and since then I've been really enjoying that whole group of games, and I've got like a list of them that I'm slowly trying to work my way through. So yeah, I think it takes time. It takes I don't know, dedication.
It can.
You gotta be
a
dedicated gamer.
I mean, I saw. I don't know. I haven't really looked in. I just saw a short of this a few months ago, and it's not something I know that much about, but I found it interesting. And it was about a guy who ate a candy that he didn't like for like a month, once a day, because you need to train your senses, and then eventually he liked it. Right? It's like, why would you eat something you didn't like? Well, because now that I've done it, I have something new that I do really like, and I think that maybe applies to the video game topic we just had in some ways, right? Why would you play a game you don't like? It was like, well, once I get used to it. Oh, also, what you've triggered another rant in me. video game online resources have become terrible in the last 10 years. I cannot find, like, do you remember GameFAQs?
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be that if you Googled a game with guide at the end, you'd find the equivalent of a GameFAQs for it. Whereas nowadays, it's all these like ad-filled clickbait articles that don't tell you anything. Like, it is really hard, in my opinion, to find information about video games these days.
It is, I agree with you, and I will go you one further. It is hard to find information about anything these days. Like,
Touché.
If I look up a fucking cooking recipe, it's the same thing. The internet is fucked. Especially search engines are fucked. And
they've over-egged the algorithm, I guess. They've put too much work into it. They've coded too far.
Well, I think partially it's that people, grifters, maybe that's too mean. People who are making websites that I don't fucking care about have gotten, like, I won't say they're grifters, that's maybe too rude, but people making bad websites have gotten too good at search engine optimization. Yeah. And the people making the really useful websites, they're spending too much time actually doing useful things to make so you've got this inverse thing where there's one group of people that are spending very little time making content and a lot of time making sure that their content is seen. And you've got the other group of people that are spending a lot of time working on their content, but very little time making sure it's seen. And the end result is that the internet's fucked. Like, and Google, and I mean, Google especially has made no effort to fix this, to try to, it's kind of wild, because when Google first came out, its whole selling point was, hey, most of these search engines, they just give you garbage that you don't need. We are going to wrangle the internet and give you really useful results that are exactly what you need. And you're absolutely right. 15 years ago, during the golden age of Google, that was true. You could put in a search term and you would find exactly what you needed in 5 seconds. And now, the actually useful site may be fucking buried 10 pages deep. Literally.
It's Discord. For most video games, it's Discord. You've got to find a Discord. And that, It's
true.
It's almost back, because that's what it used to be before Google. You'd have to find like a chat engine, like a chat group to find the useful information. And like Google used to be so good, and you'll remember this, and most people watching will, that it became a joke to send people links to a site called Let Me Google That For You, where someone asked a stupid question and then you'd send them like it's a site that literally just like typed into Google what your question and then showed you the search results, because it was like, well, why are you asking us? Just Google it. Whereas nowadays, I feel like you can't use that joke anymore, because if they're like, why didn't you Google it? You could be like, well, because I did and it didn't give me any.
Yeah, and then you're gonna have professional searchers that are gonna be like, well, you didn't spend enough time. You have to put in 15 different queries. You have to look through 100 different pages. You have to,
it's true.
And I think, and it's gotten to the point where I do think that they are using that chaos, using that shittiness to sell their AI, summarizers that'll be like, well, here's the answer. But the problem with that is, like, as has been shown, there is no guarantee that the AI has summarized you a real answer. It may be telling you to put glue on your pizza or some fucking shit like that. So I think that in general, it is sad. I think that a lot of those websites that used to exist have probably gone out of business, and the ones that are still around, I think they're being buried in shit and garbage and ad-filled nonsense. And and pages where you'll go on a page and it'll be like, you're right, it's like 50 ads, and it'll be like, let's say the question you asked was, how do I find the this item in Cataclysm? And you look, and you pull up a web page, and it's like, when I was a boy and I used to play World of Warcraft Cataclysm, I used to think that blah 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 blah, and it's like paragraphs of nonsense. You're like,
this item has been very useful and very sought after by players. This is what it does. So no wonder players are looking for this item. Full stop. End of article.
It's always shit like that, and you're like, what's happened? Yeah, and it's really bad for video games. It's really bad for whole host of different kinds of information that you would want. I think for general research, Wikipedia has become so important. And I know a lot of people now, to even get good search results or get information, they just put in their query and then put Reddit after, because they just want a Reddit page that has websites for them that they can find. And that's sad that we've gotten to that point. I mean, good for Reddit for providing this service, but like, it is sad that that's where we've gotten.
Yeah, I think you're right that it's definitely that. I think what you've brought up is the main cause of it, but I do also think the way we consume video games has changed slightly, and the way our minds work and the way we consume everything has changed slightly. I just think there are less people doing those in-depth, I love this game so much that I'm going to sit down and I'm going to write like a 50-page guide for it that's well written and informative. I just think there's less of that. Yeah,
certainly less of that people do for free. I
think, good point.
Yeah, because I think in the early internet there was also a sense of
everything's free.
Everything's free. We're all contributing to this massive online database, right? And my 50-page guide to Icewind Dale Enhanced Edition is. I was just looking at my Steam folder that popped up. My 50-page guide to Icewind Dale is my contribution to this sea of knowledge, and I think that kind of I don't think people are wrong to have lost that kind of wonderful belief, because it's like now it's like mostly grifts and people looking to make money off of you. And so why would I contribute free knowledge to a world that no longer categorizes and rewards that contribution? Because I'm not getting free knowledge back. I'm not getting anything. There was a sense of reciprocity in the early internet. The idea that like I'm putting in this information, and oh my god, look at all this information I can get out, at the end of this.
I think that's why, at least in the communities that I'm frequent with, the Discords become the place for that information, because that is a community. That is a sense of shared information.
And then we've moved, so that, you're right. In that sense, we've moved back to the very early internet, where we're forming isolated chat groups to kind forums. Of have a sense of useful knowledge, because the rest is a sea of stupidity and
bullshit.
And bullshit. I will say I've never written one of those guides, so maybe I need to get out there and start writing.
I think the closest I got with those really low effort short videos I made when Lonesome Road came out that did really good views. But at least those were useful.
You did 2 videos also on where to find items, and one of them was, I remember, the survivalist rifle.
Yep.
You did obviously you did the most famous video.
Yeah.
Where to how to get 37 gold bars.
You might find this fascinating, by the way, is that if you remember, I did like a remastered version during the Let's Play in like 2015, 2016, whenever it was. And it has now gotten to the point where there are less people leaving comments on the original video about how things have changed. And instead, people are finding their way to the new video. And then things have changed again. So they're still leaving comments on the new video saying, like, this still doesn't work for me.
It's still... No, come on. It works. I mean, I
will say, in my most recent playthrough, I opened every Dean stash, and I didn't find a single stealth boy. So, I don't know. I feel like they've nerfed the drop rates on the stealth boys.
I also didn't find a stealth boy in my most recent playthrough, but you don't need a stealth boy to do it.
No,
you just need to be the timing has to be perfect without a stealth
the
boy.
pylon.
And in my experience, you might have to try it a few times. Like, you're not going to get it on the first one.
If you have Implant GRX, or if I don't have the turbos available in that DLC, but Implant GRX is definitely available. It makes it a lot easier.
Yeah, so I think it is still doable, but I agree with you. I cannot remember the last time that I played the game and found a stealth point. And if you have a stealth point, it becomes trivially easy.
It used to be in the vault, didn't it? In the original video, I swear there was one in the suitcase in the original game.
I thought there was. Yeah, I don't know, but it is funny that people are like, I mean, what's funny about that is it almost seems like you're scamming people. Like you're like, you actually use cheats and they're like, I can't do this. Why are you pretending like it's possible to get 37 gold bars? But yeah, no, that's the classic service you did to Civilization.
I still get comments about people doing it and it working at least, so that's good. If you're watching at home, it absolutely works. I've done it on every playthrough I've done to the point where honestly, the next time I play, I don't think I'm going to do it. I've done it too much. It's not needed. It really isn't these days.
Because I mean, it's kind of like, I mean, every time I play the game, I have more money than the last time I played the game. Same. Because we talked about this once, but every little efficiency gets better. You get better at maximizing every little thing. And it's to the point where, the first time I played the game, I got to the strip and you had to have 2,000 caps. And I was like, what the fuck? Where am I going to find 2,000 caps? And now I get to the strip and I have 50,000 caps. Yes. I'm like, yeah, what the fuck do I care? Here you go. Like
you don't even need to give them the money. It's just
you don't need to give them the money, which is the dumbest thing. You should have to give them the money.
It's just because the idea is that they want to make sure you have enough money to like gamble it on the strip, right?
Yeah, it's true. It does make sense, but when you play it multiple times, a part of me is like, I wish there was a hard mode to make this the amount you need way higher, so that maybe I have a reason to look into the alternative means.
I'm sure that's a mod you could make if you really cared. I'm sure
probably
it's not hard.
Pretty easy. Yeah, you probably put in. Probably it's one line of code.
Yeah,
probably you just change one. You just change one decimal.
Yep.
And then bing bang boom. Turns out I look into it. You have to rewrite 10,000 things.
You probably need New Vegas script extender. But I'm sure
probably, yeah. But most people who play mods have that, so I don't think that would be a barrier to entry.
The only thing with the gold bars I will say, because you're right, and I make shit tons of money when I play as well, and it's definitely not necessary. Is that the Gunrunner's arsenal weapons are so ridiculously expensive, that if you're playing like completionist or honestly, I mean, every time I play the game, I just want to try out all the shit. Is that you kind of need the gold bars if you want to keep buying that shit.
No, for sure. If you are going to collect all of the purchased Gunrunner's weapons, there is no way around it. Or at least I've never tried to buy them all without the gold bars. The main reason I want to... I guess the main reason I want to not get the gold bars next time is I just haven't done the regular way that you get out of the vault in so long that I don't even remember what it's like. And so I just want to kind of experience getting out of the vault the way the game assumes you're going to get out of the vault.
I remember doing it and it being like dying so many times to the radios.
The radios are brutal. The radios are, that is, yeah. But speaking of radios.
Yes. Oh, okay. Yep.
We're going to change our station to 1056
Dragons
Dungeon.
I will make one more comment and then we will get into D&D. And I would have to. I was going to bring it up as a conversation point, but I'm definitely ready to start. Is just to mention when you talked about games graphics.
Be careful. Now I might want to converse it.
Hey, converse it if you want, but I'm also happy to start. But I am also happy not to. Games graphics aging poorly is just first like a shout out to the Wind Waker and the games that decide to go for a different graphical style, because the Wind Waker looks just as good today as it did when it came out. It's interesting to me the difference between like even semi-realistic graphic styles. They just never survive the test of time. Never. They probably will never. Even the Deus Ex 3, it only came out 10 years ago. It looks old as fuck now. But a game like the Wind Waker, just timeless.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of Nintendo games are gonna benefit from that. where their graphics look. I mean, even some of their games that don't look perfect, that are really old, they still are. The graphics are soft enough.
They did a comparison when the first Switch Pokemon game came out. One of the trees in the open world, they put one of the trees from the Pokemon game that came out in 2019 next to one of the trees from Super Mario 64, and people couldn't tell the difference. Couldn't tell which tree was which.
That's so funny. Well, that's a great example. I was going to say that because Super Mario 64, the graphics definitely fade, but even in that game, they're stylized enough that you can play that game and be like, oh yeah, this doesn't seem as old as it is. Whereas if you play a PC shooter from that era, it looks like it came out of the Temple of Doom. Like, you're like, this was covered in sand and it came out of the Ark of the Covenant, and I put it in my computer, and like, yeah, I agree. Well, I think
I don't know if I feel like this is completely irrational and filled with nostalgia, because it definitely looks old, but I still think Quake 3 looks great.
Quake 3?
Yeah.
Quake 3 specifically. Let me look at Quake 3.
It might be Quake 3 Arena that I'm thinking of.
The multiplayer one.
Yes, yeah.
Let me see here.
Okay, it's the first time I've seen screenshots from it in a while, but I still do think it looks great, even though it definitely looks old.
It does look pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, the question is, are these remastered or are these original?
That's a good question. Yeah.
But I will say the textures on the walls are really good. Yeah, I mean, that does look good. What am I going to say? That looks beautiful.
Let's bin off the D&D and play Quake 3 Arena.
Fuck yeah.
Quake 3 Arena, I think, was my first PC game.
Oh.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Quake 3 Arena is that's a good one. I'm gonna look up real quick what Doom 3, which came out in like 2005, I think. What that looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it looks good, but old.
It looks fine.
Yeah.
I think the other problem is like I grew up during these times, so like when I see these games, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. It's great. You know? And then you show it to you might show it to a young person now and they're like, what the fuck is that garbage? Or, I don't know.
Is this being colored? Was it originally in black and white?
I mean, especially if you show people the I think Fallout New Vegas is a beautiful game, but if you show people the character models of that game now, they're like, or Fallout 3, right? Either of those, they're like, what the fuck? They think they're so goofy looking.
Well, I feel like nobody sees New Vegas or Fallout 3 unmodded these days. I guess that's a point to make.
I see it unmodded all the time.
Oh, I don't.
Do you play it heavily modded? Do you?
Maybe not. You know what? I probably have at least 20 mods installed every time, so I think that counts as heavily modded. Yeah.
Okay. I often play it completely vanilla. And
I haven't played it vanilla in a very long time. Yeah.
I'm really picky with mods, and I'm especially really picky with visual mods. And a lot of the times, I've installed visual mods that have, they'll say, we're gonna fix the roads, we're gonna make them look better, and I download it. And I'm like,
just like fascist dictators, always promising to fix the infrastructure.
Always promising to fix the infrastructure. I look at they'll retexture the roads. And they look too clean, or they look too whatever, right? I'm so picky that I'm so used to the visuals of the game in its vanilla state that I'm now completely corrupted. And when I download certain visual mods, I just think they look weird or goofy or off, and I bulk against it every time.
I have bounced off a lot of the visual mods too. It's taken me a while. It took me probably 10 years to settle on the mod set that I have now. And I have trimmed it down and curated and stuff, but I'm pretty happy with it now, and it does pretty much overhaul everything. Like, I think the main ones are, I have 2 texture packs that I like. One's a small one, and then one's a big one. And then I have all the weapons reskinned, remodeled, and they've got a specific like energy weapons mod, which is great, really good. Lighting mod. I really struggle with lighting mods because I really like the pitch black darkness night mod, but I also find myself finding it difficult to play sometimes.
Yeah, no, I've tried that. I can't fucking do anything at night. which means I end up. I mean, maybe that's part of the point. It's like you're supposed to sleep at night.
Yeah, which I find myself doing sometimes.
Day, but yeah, I don't know. I just I'm definitely a I am a full. I've realized something about myself in my elder years. I'm almost 30, Putty. We're both almost 30.
I'm not that close to 30.
How old are you?
27.
Okay.
That's gonna be 3 years, bro. The year will be 2027 by the time I'm 30.
That's so close. Anyway, but like, just prepare yourself. It's gonna hit you fat if you don't. You
don't understand, Marshall. Actually, you think you're further progressed here, whereas actually I know that I am because it already hit me, and now I'm in the denial stage. So just you wait.
I see what you mean. Yeah. You're already in your midlife crisis. Where you're like, when you have your birthday, you start telling people that you're 23.
No, I'm past the crisis. I see you as in the crisis that you're worried about it. Yeah. I'm in denial. I'm past it. I just buy shiny cardboard.
Is being in denial past it?
Yes.
Isn't acceptance the last stage? Is the ideal permanent denial? You want to reach denial and then stay in that state for your whole life?
I'll let you know when I get there.
But anyway, I've just become such a Luddite. There's just so many aspects of new tech freak me the fuck out.
Did I ever tell you somebody I trained with? I don't think I've told this story before. Oh, I can't remember the exact details of it, but she used to call people Luddites, not understanding what the word meant. Like, I think where she came from, they just called all people from a certain part of the country Luddites.
Weird.
Yeah, and I was like, you know what that means, right? You know,
what part of the country?
It must have been somewhere. It must have been related. It must have been the Northwest, right? It must have been where the mills were with the actual Luddites.
Ah, and so she didn't know its modern, normal.
She didn't know its historical connotation. She didn't know what it meant. Yeah,
she didn't know what it meant at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's where I'm at. So
sorry. Yeah, I cut you off. So you like playing games vanilla.
I like playing games vanilla. I like hiding away from society. I like reading my paper books. In 10 years, I'm probably going to be in a cabin in the woods somewhere, foraging. Yeah, I think it might happen. Unless the world starts getting better. I mean, my thing is like, I feel weird being a Luddite. It feels unnatural. But the reason I genuinely think I am is not because I fear technology in general. It's that I fear the way that modern humans are using technology. And
have you considered founding the Brotherhood of Steel?
To start collecting it and using it for, train a group of people that know how to use this technology.
Yeah.
First, we need to get plasma weaponry, though, to enforce our will upon mankind. We'll need plasma weaponry and powered armor.
Perhaps once he's fixed all of the government inefficiency, our Lord and Savior, Mr. Musk, will get on that plasma weaponry.
Is Mr. Musk just Mr. New Vegas? Is he going... Or, sorry, is he Mr. House? Is he going to... Not Mr. New Vegas, that's the radio guy.
He could be Mr. House.
Musk is going to build himself a containment chamber. He is going to... he's gonna build a robot army. A lot of this is starting to actually add up for me.
You know what? Is Musk that much of a free market guy, though? He might well be, but I don't know if he is. He doesn't necessarily strike me as this massive free market guy.
What other kind of guy would it be? He's a multi-billionaire. Do you think he's a communist?
No, definitely not a communist. Well,
I think he is. I mean, I know he has very bizarre thoughts about how humans should do transportation. He's very against. He's very against trains. Like
really,
all of his solutions to
How
public
could he?
transport amount to a complicated way to drive cars. It's like, so he got contracted by the city of Las Vegas, not New Vegas. But that's funny that we were talking about that. He got contracted by Las Vegas to build what is called the Hyperloop there. And it's essentially an underground tunnel where a number of Tesla cars are constantly driving through, and you get in one, and it takes you to another station in the tunnel.
And
so
it's
his
powered
solution
in the ground, right? Not in the vehicle or something like that.
Nope. The vehicles are powered, and they have to go charge. They're regular cars. They're self-driving because they're in a tunnel where there's nothing, hopefully unexpected, that they have to deal with, and you can only get in. You can only seat as many people in one of these as there are seats in a regular sedan. So 4 or 5 people, and basically, so his solutions to public transport, instead of the amazing, trains are so high density, you can move millions of people a day in places like Tokyo and New York with the subway systems. And every time Musk thinks about public transport, he doesn't like that, because he said on interviews, he's like, you're with a bunch of random people. They could be murderers. They might be dirty, And so all of his solutions for public transport amount to a small contained pod where only
in his
you
defense,
and your friends.
If you could get that experience with retaining the density of a train, then I'd be all for it. But it's just impossible, right?
I think it's impossible, but I also think I'm not necessarily sure if I'm all for it. I think in our modern world, we have already become too disconnected from the people we live next to, and I don't necessarily want to accelerate that process even more. Like I think people
I agree with what you're saying, but I also think we should encourage institutions that bring people together by choice, not by necessity.
Well, I guess, but I'm not sure if I agree with that either. I mean, I don't know.
That is fair. I could see the counter argument to what I said, but I
think I don't know. I think the reason we're at where we are is because people are making choices, right? People make choices that are bad for them. I guess I might be very paternalistic, but as I get older, I'm not sure, especially after the Trump election, I'm just not sure if people know what's best for them. I'm not sure if I know what's best for people, but I'm not sure if people know what's best for people either.
And on that note, speaking of people knowing what's best, what's going on with Admand these days?
Admand is gorging on porn in the
God damn it, Marshall.
he's gotten access to the internet. And he is
you can take inspiration if you don't have it already.
He's losing his fucking mind. All right. And so yes, he is vibing. He is in the Stone Tooth. He is in Kundrakar. It is a beautiful fortress. It's so lovely. It's so chiseled. It's so well maintained. It was filled with orcs and a ogre and 2 dire wolves, and we went in and we killed all of them. There was one orc that escaped, and we started barring up the place and securing it for what would hopefully be a wonderful night of rest. Because Dorian is injured and needs to wake up. We rescued the 2 daughters of the local farmer. All seemed to be well. And then The Fire Nation attacked. As they always do. What elemental nation would the orcs be if they were one? I'm thinking Earth Nation.
That was my instinct. That was the first thing I thought of.
Yeah, they feel more earthy.
Have you seen the live action Avatar show series that just?
I have not. I am so pessimistic that I just didn't. I couldn't bring myself to watch it. I may one day, but I assumed the moment it was announced, it was going to be garbage. I had other people tell me back then, no, this time it's going to be really good. But I believe all live action remakes of animated shows or movies are inherently a terrible fucking idea. I don't know why anyone ever wants to do them. I could rant about that all day, but like it never has made sense to me. And so I thought it was going to be bad, and then I heard a bunch of people tell me it was bad, and now I'm not sure if I even have the heart to watch it. But you haven't watched it either, you said?
I don't think so. Now part of me is like doubting myself, wondering if I watched a couple episodes, but if I did, I don't remember them very well. So I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, I heard it was better than the movie, which is a low bar. Like the M. Night Shyamalan movie. I heard it was better than that. But
I thought you meant the the blue people. Okay.
Oh, that movie is actually quite that movie's controversial because I know some people hate it, but some people say it's like their favorite movie. So anyway,
I watched it once and I found it boring, but I don't have a strong opinion on
it. Well, that's the thing. Some people come away and they're like, I didn't get it. It was boring. And then I know some people that are like, that's the best movie that's ever been made. I'm kind of in the middle. I think it's a good movie. It's not my favorite movie. Anyway, okay, so. Although I will say the sequel was quite good. Anyway, okay, so these orcs are here. They represent the live action Earth Nation, and we're in a bit of trouble. This is the shaman, and
you think?
I'm almost certain this is the shaman. Don't you fuck with me?
I'll fuck with you if I want. That's my job as the GM. I mean, I'm here to fuck with you. I think that's like the job description.
You're right, but I won't take it anymore. No, I believe that this is the shaman. Let me pop up the shaman's name. The shaman's name is Goofith.
Are you sure? You think?
That is what my note says, Goofith. It also says my name's Goofith. Wait, I think someone messed with my notes. No, his name is Burderg. Burderg. He or she or they.
Well, she seems to present female to Kratz and Istria.
Yeah, Burderg the shaman is I believe that this person is, and I have a theory as to where they came from, and that theory is that they came from above. Right? What was the room with the open ceiling in it? Where was that? It was.
It's to the south. The fire pit room had.
Yeah. So my theory is either they came from there or they came from the well, like they climbed out of the well, like they were hiding with snorkels. Just waiting.
They are a little damp, but it could be sweat.
They're damp.
Yeah.
It's just fucking drenched in water. Just
now, I last session we had talked about Admand could be in lots of different places right now. Mm-hmm. Have you come up with the list of options?
Yeah. So as far as I can see, option 1 is where he technically is positioned on the map, which is that he's currently
at the door.
At the door, he's either securing it or has secured it. The other option,
I'm going to put that as 2 options: at the door securing, at the door secured.
That's true, because one of those is better than the other. I think the worst case scenario is at the door securing, because that means he's like completely out of earshot and will be for a little bit. And then the other one I can see is he's in the chain room. He hasn't gotten the chains yet. He's like in there getting them.
In the chain room. I'm going to add on the way to the chain room.
Well, that was the other option, that he was going to
okay.
be in transit. But I guess you could say on the way and away from each as an option. You can make it a D6.
On the way back.
Or is that a D5? I don't know how many options are at.
A D5 right now.
I guess the last option I'll give is that he, at some point, maybe. I guess the last option is that he finished with all of that task, and he went back to visit Dorian. So maybe the best option is that he's in the room, like right next to us.
Visiting Dorian.
And by that I mean Dorian, Billy, and everyone in that room.
Of course. I'm also going to put on the way to visit Dorian.
Wait, number 7.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm going to make some of these more likely than others. Because most of the time is going to be spent at the door securing or on the way back or to the chain room. So
okay.
I'm going to give on the way and on the way back to each.
And let's just make one of them sneaking up and successfully killing all of the orcs. No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, we maybe should put one option that Admand goes to the bathroom, because you've been here a little while.
That's true. Yeah, make that an option. Where would he go to the bathroom?
You tell me. I have a theory, but you tell me.
My problem is I can't see all the maps, so I can't remember all the places I've been. But
I'll just let you into my theory. Then there is a chasm next to you with water in it.
When I shit into someone's drinking water?
Oh, I was thinking the other bodily function, but now now that you've brought it up, I guess that is something you'd have to do. But fuck them, it's not your drinking water.
I mean, I don't know if it is someone's drinking water. That's the thing. I don't know.
You don't even know if it is water. You can hear water, but it might not be at the bottom.
In real life, I would always be very careful to poop in a flowing river, because it's like, that's how cholera happens.
Dwarf cholera, too.
Dwarf cholera. The other... Oh, wait, I've got a fun option.
Okay.
I've got a fun option. What if I go up to one of the one of the holes that looks out of the dungeon, and I shit out of it onto the mountain?
Well, unfortunately, they would just be on the path that you used to get to and from the fortress. So
damn. Okay, I'll poop down. I'll poop down the chasm. I'll poop and pee down the chasm.
Cool.
Or should there be one option for pooping and one option for peeing?
I think we can just.
We'll leave that a mystery.
Okay. So,
one option for horrible diarrhea. Who's on the can for 5-6 hours?
We'll also leave that a mystery.
Worst case scenario.
On the way to the chain room. On the way back from the chain room. And then I'm gonna because I think at the door securing is the most likely result. I'm gonna add 2 more rolls for that, so it'll be 3 total. So that'll mean we will end up with a D12, but I'm just gonna fix the order here.
And I would love to see it when you're done, just so I can see the.
Yep, totally.
Yep.
Okay, so 1 through 3. Nope, not March. Not March the 1st. Thank you very much. Auto filter Excel. Auto format, I mean. Format cells general. Cool. No, not March. I hate Excel for I know how to fix this, but I'm drawing a blank right now on how to do it.
What's the issue?
When I do 1-3 in Excel, it auto formats as the 1st of March.
Oh, I have no clue how to fix that. I've never figured it out. I'm sure there is a way.
There is, and I've done it, but I can't remember off the top of my head, so I'm just gonna...
Can you do a double hyphen?
Yes. Good job.
There you go.
Easy quick fix. 4, 5, 6 to 7, 8 to 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, I fucked something up here. What? Oh, no, I haven't. I'm good.
Did you forget how to count?
No, I just added the 4 and the 5. So, never mind. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Okay. I'll send you the image. Ignore the numbers on the left. They're not relevant anymore. It's the numbers on the right that are relevant.
Okay. All right. Oh, this is exciting.
I'll find a way to show the audience here.
Admand goes to the bathroom.
Did you get that result? Oh, no, you haven't. Okay.
No, I haven't rolled. I just
read
like
it.
the way you wrote that. Okay. Are we ready?
I'm gonna almost done. I just want to make sure the audience see the chart before you roll. Okay, they've seen it. You can go ahead.
Here we go. I love D12s.
Me too. They are a really satisfyingly shaped dice. Very, very nice dice. I do love D12s. Ooh, that's a nice looking. Oh, you got two, I see. It looked chunky.
One of them is pink, and the other is this kind of like blue sea glass kind of thing. It's hard to see in the camera, but
I've lost some of my D6s today from my desk because I got a new deck box today. It has a little dice tray in it, so I had to fill it up with some D6s.
Very cool.
Yeah, I want to buy this because it has two deck slots in it, so.
Wow, that is nerdy as shit.
I can put both of my Edison decks in there because they are designed
to play against when you crack that open, people are gonna they're gonna go, whoa.
Well, I saw one of these years ago with a guy who had done something like this, so I've always wanted to do it.
Gotta have the good gear. You gotta show. It's like in a way you've won the battle before you even start when you show up with the best gear. They're like, yeah, shit.
That's it. Playmats especially. Like if you have like a world championship playmat, even if you've never been to the world championship, it kind of
says the right message.
It sends the message. Yeah,
I was there.
Yeah, I won.
All right, here we go.
This is a winner's match.
I won. It's weird. I've never heard of you. Yeah, don't worry about that.
Don't worry about it. I got the match.
I've won.
All right, important dice roll. Let's go.
D12. 9. That's all the way back from the chain room. That's a great result.
Ooh.
That's a great result.
Very nice. Okay, let's get back in.
So I will let you place me. I don't know where that means, but that could be anywhere.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Why don't you roll a D5 for me?
So much.
You want to roll low, I think, because low will be closer to the action.
1.
1. So you're still in the chain room. You've just about to leave the chain room.
Holy shit. Okay.
Cool. Oh yeah, so you're definitely going to hear this. All right, let's.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, roll into initiative. Sorry, I muted this time.
Terrible initiative rolls.
They are not great, but will they beat out the orcs? Bulk roll initiative.
No.
No, they will not. All right, the orcs roar with their battle cry and begin to charge 30 feet, and then they can use their bonus action, which I will put in chat.
What?
They can move up to their speed towards a hostile creature they can see.
No, I'm not hostile, I swear.
Skirt past this garbage a little bit here to get into a good position, and then swing his mighty battle axe. Or great axe, even. Ooh.
Fuck.
23 to hit.
That hits!
For no damage. No, for 1d12 plus 3 damage.
Oh god, please roll low.
7 damage. How are you feeling about d12s now?
I still love him.
Okay.
I'll always love him.
Roar! The orc charges,
stop.
Using its aggressive bonus action.
Please no!
To get here. And then cleaves at Istria again.
No, wait, attack me, Kratz says.
11 to hit.
That misses.
All right. And then Berderg makes a series of movements and grabs a sacred pendant across her neck. And as a bonus action, she summons into existence a sickly green spectral sickle, which attacks Istria.
Stop! Leave her alone!
Can't send things to the front or the back today. It's unfortunate. But there is a sickle there. Just about see it. There we go, put it there. Let's see if this command works. Considering the rest of the character sheet's a little wonky. Okay, there's a 14 hit Istria.
Just hits.
Then she will take the max, no, not quite max, but almost max damage, 7 force from the sickly green sickle. And that's a bonus action for Berderg.
Fuck.
But that does mean Berderg can't quite get in melee range this turn. But she can move here. Free object interaction, she's going to pull out her spear. And she's just
Please,
in range.
God, this is so many things.
And she will throw it.
No.
10 to hit, which will miss.
That misses. Thank God. 12
All
piercing
right.
is a lot.
That would have put Istria down. All right, Kratz's turn.
Kratz is like, I'm with you to the orcs. No, just kidding. No, of course, Kratz says, I'll kill you like a beast. Pulls out his short sword and attack. The one right in front of him.
That misses.
That's a rough start.
Yep.
Okay. That's Kratz's turn.
I definitely think you will have heard the commotion. You can play as if you know what's going on.
Oh, what's all this about? Admand is going to move there. And I am going to say that he spends his action equipping his shield because I don't think there's any reason he would have that out right now.
Yep, cool.
And then free object. Could he then also free object pull out a weapon?
I think you need to use the free object interaction to pull out the shield.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then that's his turn. He's shielded up, and he's moved up to his speed.
Istria.
Fuck! Istria runs. Actually, so Istria is going to specifically attack this one.
Yep.
Hey!
Oh! An inspired strike.
9 damage. And then, unfortunately, has to still disengage if she doesn't want to take an opportunity attack from this guy. So I'm going to have her bonus action disengage and move.
Worth mentioning at this stage that the spiritual weapon I don't rule as an independent creature doesn't get opportunity attacks and is basically affected by the same things as Berderg is. So if you were to get out of Berderg's sight, you would be an unseen target.
Okay, good to know. Yeah.
So no attack as opportunity. The spiritual weapon can follow you behind cover, but if you get out of Berderg's sight, then the spiritual weapon will have disadvantage attacking you.
Okay. Istria runs there.
Bonus disengage, I assume? I think you said
bonus disengage. And it's like, oh, thank God, Admand, you're here. And she is
wounds probably at this point from the axes and the spear.
She's looking rough. And Admand is like, more orcs, very good. And that is Istria's turn.
Okay. Does the orc follow? Oh, yeah. All right. The orc is going to have to bonus action dash to do this, so he will. And then swings the great axe. 18.
Or history is going down here for sure.
4 damage. So
he does it.
She stands as the orc gets
Say
a
what
glancing
you will about
blow.
these orcs. These orcs have rolled decently well on their attacks, and I'm talking about all the orcs in this dungeon, but they have rolled so low on their damage. They have almost never roll max. Like, remember the first few orcs, they just kept rolling 3 damage every single attack.
Yeah. I mean, D12 is very swingy. Very swingy.
It's true.
Okay, the second orc, though, is going to take attack at Kratz. 17.
You'll have to do... Well, actually, that probably is fine. That hits, yes.
For 5 damage.
You'll have to do better than that, Kratz says.
Burdurg will move the weapon.
Burdurg.
And attack Kratz with it. It's a d20 plus 3 to hit. So a 5, I'm assuming, will miss.
That does.
And then she will pull out her spear, her other spear.
Oh, she has 2? Damn her.
Yeah. Oh, she could just pick up this one, actually. I think she's just going to pick up the one next to Istra. And then attack Kratz with it. 15 to hit?
15 hits.
For 8 damage. At some point, I need to remember to take the time between sessions just to see if I can fix these orcs' character sheets, because I don't intend for these things to be rolling the way they are. But
yeah, I don't know what's going on with that.
Broken. Okay, that's the end of Burdurg's turn. It's your turn, Kratz.
Kratz is going to attempt to finish off this orc. 25 to hit.
That is a hit. Ooh.
I am going to re-roll that damage because I get to. It's a d6.
5.
Slightly better. 5 damage.
Leaves the orc on 1 hit point.
Oh, because I just rolled a little higher. Ah, man, that's annoying. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's Kratz's turn.
Admand.
Admand pulls out his great hammer and moves here. It's 10 feet and swings. I'm gonna swing on you. Actually, for fun, I'm gonna have him use his longsword. I never have him use his longsword. He's gonna use his longsword.
All right. Damage. Sure.
Hopefully they're not resistant to slashing.
I didn't even know Admand had a longsword. Is it your traditional human-made longsword? Is it a dwarven longsword?
What is a dwarven longsword? I don't know.
Probably just a little more
Eek.
Squared off. You know what I mean? Like it's not as.
I'm gonna say he has a human longsword. And he has no. So Admand is armed to the teeth. He has a spear, a hand axe. He has multiple hand axes, a longsword, a warhammer. He's well armed. So he pulls out his longsword and attacks.
Better for close quarters combat, you know. That's what the longsword is for, or for protection. That's gonna hit.
9 slashing damage.
I think that is some sort of riposte upon the attack on Istria. You battle back the orc.
And then it's Istria's turn. I'm going to have Istria attack the orc. And yeah, we'll see how that goes. Might be able to just kill him.
Could do.
No.
I was going to miss, though. But between Admand and Istria, you've opened up an avenue for escape.
And Istria is going to use the help action as a bonus action.
Yep.
And is going to move. 1 second, sorry. She's gonna like continue to get the fuck just hide. Like, please stop alone. Okay, that is Istria's turn.
Okay, this orc can't justify trying to run past the
the Admand has this look of like, make my fucking day, run past me.
Actually, he is a dwarf. Maybe there's a chance he could outrun you.
I just imagine there's this moment where the two of them are like making eye contact for a second as the orc is trying to figure out what he wants to do. And Admand's just like, he's ready like a catapult, just.
The orc's gonna try and swing at you.
Yes.
I assume 11 will miss. The other orc weighs up his options. Knows that Burdirk doesn't have any healing.
Oof. Shit, shaman.
I'm gonna make a roll action. Yeah, he's gonna disengage.
Oh.
Move to here. Burdirk will have the spiritual weapon attack again.
Miss.
14.
Oh, 14.
14.
Hit.
Okay. For 6 damage. And then considers her options, and I think is just going to attack with the spear again. 16 also hits for 10 piercing damage.
Oh. Kratz is looking rough.
And Kratz can feel as the spear pierces through his armor that the spear is empowered by some sort of otherworldly magic. Kratz is
Oh man, fucking shit, dude.
Looking the whole team's looking a bit rough.
The whole team is looking a bit rough.
Billy's full health.
Billy, get in here, you fucking miscreant! Okay. I think Kratz is going to go for an attack. He's going to attack Burdirk. And I am going to give him advantage on this using inspiration. Here we go. Oh, come on! Fuck.
It's gonna miss.
All right, that's Kratz's turn.
Admand.
Admand is going to attack this orc.
Yep.
And it's like, what? Kratz! I'll be there in a second! Let me mop up the filth! And he smacks the orc with his sword.
That hits. And that slays this orc.
That's his turn.
Istria. Oh. You had advantage on that attack. Roll for crit in case you get inspiration off of it. You had advantage
you're right.
from Istria's
I would have
help.
had advantage. Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. Okay.
Nope. Good reminder, though. Okay, Istria is going to pull out her crossbow and is going to move up here and take a shot at the shaman.
I'm going to call that half cover from the garbage.
Garbage.
The garbage.
Fuck.
That misses.
That's over.
All right. This orc sees Kratz on low health. How brave is this orc? Yep, brave enough. All right. Oh.
Oh no!
Oh, it's okay. It's 0
No,
damage.
no damage though, so it's fine. And that's the
Oh! Jesus! Well, Kratz isn't
27,
overkilled.
right?
Yeah, 27. So he is.
Dude, that is close to just insta killing him. Oh my
Yeah.
god.
I don't know if we've ever gone through this, but I don't retain damage beyond 0, so he's still just on 0. But if the orc attacks again and deals 33 in one hit, that would be a kill.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um,
and yeah, Kratz is down, unconscious.
Brutal.
Burdurg is going to move the spiritual weapon over to Admand.
What's this? He's like, Admand hasn't seen this yet. He's
Glowing
like,
green
what is this
sickle.
witchcraft?
And it swings out at Admand. This is +3. So 10 will miss.
Parries it.
Burdurg steps up with her two-handed spear with a metal tip, jagged, and will try to thrust it at you. 14, I imagine, will miss with your shield.
Misses.
Cool. All right, and that's the end of Burdurg's turn. Kratz, get me a death throw.
Success.
That's a success. I'm also going to send you a picture here of the spear that Burdurg holds in her hand.
Burdurg.
And the kind of
that's the
armor
whole
that she'd be
picture.
wearing. Yeah, obviously this is a different orc to Burdurg, but the armor and the spear are similar.
Oh, it is a different orc? I just assumed this was Burdurg.
This is the armor and the spear that Burdurg has, but Burdurg has a slightly different frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
And she also has a bandage over her eye rather than that false one that this one appears to have. Yeah, Admund's turn.
Admand is going to attack Burdurg.
All right, make it count, samurai.
$15.
15 will just miss.
Oh. Ah! Curse you all! All right.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. I've just checked Burdurg's stat block, and that armor class of 16 would only apply were she wearing a shield, and she's been attacking with both hands, so that'll hit.
Fuck yeah. 11 slash.
A brutal blow.
Oh
to the
no,
orc
she
shaman.
has so much HP!
But she is not deterred from her task of cleansing her home of invaders.
I'm panicked. The rules for drinking potions, is it object interaction to get it out and then an action to drink it?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. I have to consider
You
that.
could swap. You could, as with everything, you can swap. So you could swap a Warhammer for the potion as a free object interaction, and then drink it.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Or you could swap it for the potion this turn. Action, drink, free object, get the Warhammer back out.
Next turn.
Next turn.
Yeah. Okay. Well, his turn's over anyway, but okay.
Well, you still have your free object. That's why you still have your free object.
Oh, I see what you mean.
So you could swap it this turn and be able to get the weapon back out next turn. But that means you don't have a weapon for this turn.
No, I don't want to do that because I would rather have... Well, I'm just going to keep the weapon out for now. Okay, it's Istria's turn.
Yep.
Istria is going to shoot crossbow bolt at the remaining orc. Let's get rid of that fucker, because it's about what I can do right now.
I'm saying no cover on this one. I don't think there's enough shit in the way.
Nice.
Whoa, wouldn't have mattered. Would not have mattered.
Dead.
In the depths of a difficult situation, Istria once again comes up clutch, slaying the orc and inspiring Admand and herself in the process.
Okay.
You have inspiration, if you didn't clock that.
Oh yeah. Okay. Istria is going to... Fuck, I don't know. I don't know what I want Istria to do. Fuck. I'm just gonna have Istria run back a little bit. It's her turn.
This orc is dead. Berdurg speaks in a deep orcish growl as the sickle once again spins around its rotation and slashes towards you. +3 on this. 17?
I don't think it... Admand's AC is 18.
Right, okay. You block it with the shield then. You block the spectral sickle out of the way. As Berdurg once again tries to spear you with her vicious polearm. Two-handed spear attack. Missing. And good thing it did. That's a lot of damage. Kratz, that's save.
Oh man. That high AC is like...
Yeah,
that's what holds the party together at times like this. Okay, here we go. Nat 20. No. Fail.
One success, one fail. Next turn, if Kratz rolls a 1, he is dead.
But if he rolls a 20.
He's up.
And if he rolls other numbers, then other
things happen. Yep.
Yeah.
Admand.
Okay.
You could take your turn to go over to Kratz with your healer's kit and stabilize him.
I don't have my healer's kit.
It's in the
Billy
room.
does.
Yes, I remember you giving it to him.
Billy! No, I don't want to. But there's no safe way for Billy to get to Kratz right now. Well, if he ran all the way around. No, I actually don't, because it. So no, Admand would not yell Billy. I think Admand hopes beyond hope that they don't know that we have people in there, because, like, I'm not in a great position to defend them right now. And so I don't think he wants them to sort of be... I don't think he wants their position to be revealed right now. So, okay. Oh, man, I'm so conflicted on what to do. Drink potion or attack. Drink potion or attack. Got the inspiration. I'm going to cash it in. Attack at advantage.
Okay.
Here we go.
The champion fighter attacking with advantage.
Crit. Fucking kidding me. Oh my god.
13 will miss.
13 just misses because I'm guessing that her armor is 14. Oh my god. This world is unfair to me specifically. Okay, that's Admand's turnover.
Great. Istria.
Istria is going to...
Remember, you can turn Istria to change the light direction a bit if you'd like. Currently pointed into a wall from what I can see.
Istria is going to. Sorry, 1 second. So I had her here. I'm going to move her. I don't know where I would get a clean shot. Maybe.
You could walk
here?
right up to Berderg, and then you'd have a really clean shot.
I guess. Let me go right here. Clean shot.
Yeah. Will it connect? It will. For eight piercing from a hand crossbow, a vicious bolt into the neck between the armor of the shaman. She cries out in pain. I'll get you for that, little girl.
No, I'm not. Wait, whoa. I'm a woman. She said. She's like, I am 40. Okay, I'm not a little. You know what? She runs away.
But you're short.
But you're short. Okay.
A Berderg will command the sickle.
I know. Attack the sickle. It's an opportunity. Can I damage the sickle?
No.
That'd be awesome. Damn it.
Sorry. +3 to this roll. 20 for +1 to this. 7 damage. She's down.
So heroic.
Berderg commands the sickle as it follows the retreating rogue and slashes at her thigh, and she falls. Okay. She turns the spear on you and thrusts. Missing. Okay, I'm just tracking how many uses the spiritual weapon still has. It's still got a few more rounds before it disappears. Kratz, death save. Don't roll a 1. Okay,
Success.
2 success.
Need one more.
All of your combat compatriots have now been felled. You're the last one left. Complete the mission.
You're the last one left. I think Admand looks around and he knows that if he fails here, it will mean death or slavery for him and his comrades. 17 to hit.
Hits.
7 slashing.
7 slashing damage into the orc. She cries out. She is still standing.
Throw down your... Admand, even in the darkest of moments, is cocky, and he says, throw down your weapon, and I'll let you live. He says in Dwarven.
Okay.
He doesn't know Orcish.
Yeah. Istria, death save.
You know what? He would say it... Unlikely she knows Dwarven. She would say it in a Luskan.
Okay.
Just in case.
Yeah, I mean, she did taunt Istria in Aluskan earlier, so...
Oh, she did? Okay.
Yeah, so...
Oh, wait, no! He doesn't know Luskan. He knows Chondathan. But maybe that's what she taunted Istria with.
Yes. No, it would be Chondathan. That's the more common language. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, Istria, death save?
Yes, please. Oh! Okay, so death saves happen at the start of the turn, which means she's got the rest of her turn left. She has 1 hit point, but she is prone.
She gets up like a baby fawn.
Her crossbow will be on the floor within reach. Be a free object interaction to pick it up.
Nah, I don't think she's gonna do that. Instead, she's gonna stand up. Now that uses up half of her movement, correct?
Yep. So she's down 20.
She's gonna stand up, free object interact, get out her dagger, and she's gonna then move here. She's going to attack her with the dagger. This is can you imagine how terrifying, how surprising this would be? Just jumps, runs up.
When I described the felling, the sickle had slashed at her thigh. So maybe she took a round to recompose herself and then was like, nah, I'm still in this.
Yeah, I'm still in the fight. Here we go. Dagger. 14 to hit.
Hits. Just hits.
6 piercing.
Ooh.
Just imagine she slashes her in the same like place on the thigh that she just got hit.
Ah, I thought I dealt with you already.
I'm hard to kill, she says. And then she's gonna use bonus action help. And then she is, I imagine kind of maybe like kicks her in the leg too at the same time to kind of stumble her. And then she has 5 more movement. She's gonna move here with that 5 movement and is out of range. Has helped. Huge. That was huge.
Massive. Berderg, angry, frustrated, will kind of swipe in Istria's direction and said, I said stay down, girl. And the scythe, the sickle, is going to fly over to her. +3 to hit. 4 will miss.
Istria just like leaps over the sickle.
And then Berderg will lash out with the spear towards Admand. Off balance. Nope. Kratz death save. Don't roll a 1.
Why would you say that?
I say that every time. Oh!
No!
Kratz draws his last breath and expires.
It was just a boy!
Admand. Berderg, off balance, frustrated, stands still before you.
Admand, like a surgeon, lines up his blade along her neck, like at the same angle, and is going to just try to cut her head off. Has advantage. Here we go. Nat 20. Gets inspiration. Oh, come on. Oh, so 10 damage. That might be enough. I don't know. Oh, fuck. It's 10 enough.
Insert deep into her neck and pull it out as she seems to falter. And then a glow appears in her one remaining eye as she stands unslain before you.
I don't know what that means. Interesting. Witchcraft! Witchcraft.
Is that the end of your turn?
That's Admand's turn.
Istria the orc is on death's door, but she's empowered by her dark gods.
Istria runs up and stabs her.
You want to use... Never mind.
Do I want to use the inspiration?
Yeah.
It's not a terrible idea. Yeah, I think I will, actually. Why not? So I don't think I need to do much here, hopefully. 14.
14 hits.
6.
And you come behind, stab into her lower back. It's a clean shot, a perfect one. As Berderg's
right in the kidney.
That glow in her eye towards Admand. It sparks and flares, and then it fades. And the orc falls to the ground, dead.
Admand wipes off his blade and then quickly goes towards Kratz to check on him. He'll be fine. He's suffered worse than this. And he starts checking him, going to help him with his wounds. Calls out, Billy, bring the kit! And as he checks, I imagine it becomes quickly apparent that he's dead.
Yep.
And Admand says, never mind, Billy. Never mind. Admand Admund, I think, sits there for a moment of silence. I imagine the magic sickle fell to the ground too when she died, or does it just float there
disappeared. Yeah.
menacingly?
No, it like it probably like sort of slowly broke into little particles of green glowing dust, and then slowly just like faded away.
Admund sort of sits over Kratz for a second, a moment of silence, looks to Istria, and looks back and says, "You deserve better." And he closes his eyelids. He takes Kratz's short sword and places it into his hands and puts it to his chest. And sort of rests him properly on the ground. And Istria, go help me take Kratz back to the room.
Is he gonna be okay?
He's dead.
She wordlessly helps you take him back to the room.
And I think Admund places him down on the open bed with his sword clutched in his hands, his eyes closed. And I think he takes some spare, maybe piece of cloth in the room, doesn't need to be fancy, and places it over him as a shroud. Turns to Billy and shakes his head.
Billy's eyes are wide, witnessing the whole thing.
Says, I believe that the fortress is secure. And I think with that, well, it's not, because actually Admund rolled the result where he hadn't finished doing the chain, right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So Admund has Istria now that she's really bad. Rest in the room. And Admund is going to go and finish the inspection of the base.
Okay.
On his own.
Yep.
Assuming, does he find any sign of where they came through? I mean, I'm guessing if they actually came out of the well, there would be a good deal of splashed water all over the place, which I'm guessing there's not.
There's not. No, there's not.
I think he would go into into this room, was it? This is the room with the open hole.
Yep.
Would there be any signs he could see of like marks on the cave wall that look like they climbed down with picks or anything like that?
Make me a perception check. Wow. Yeah. No, there's no such signs. You do a thorough investigation in this room and you're pretty certain that nobody's been here since you last checked.
Where the fuck were those 3? Where'd they come from? I'm guessing they were just in a hidey hole that we never found, or that they just kept one step behind us or something. I don't know where they would have come from. Admund doesn't have a lot of good options. His whole party is injured, and he doesn't feel 100% safe in this place, especially because he doesn't yet know where they came from, but he doesn't really have a better option. So he's going to finish the plan he started. He'll go to this room, he'll get the chain, this place is a goddamn maze. He'll go back with the chain, and he'll chain up the doors, put a board through them, and seal them as well as he possibly can. He will then, I think he just starts taking all the orc bodies. He'll finish. I guess he'll search the ones we just defeated. See if they have anything interesting.
Sure. Let me just double check that for you. I haven't looked at this Roll20 for a while, and so it just kind of surprised me when I opened my my journal that there was a character sheet at the bottom called Tester Man, and then I remembered what he was there for.
Nice.
Birderg. Birderg had the Turks were mostly nothing. Birderg had a pouch with 160 silver pieces in it.
160 silver.
Yeah.
Okay. I also just realized something.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say it in a second. Okay. 160.
And then there are also 3 clay flasks. And inside the clear flasks are a strange, thick, orange fluid that gives off heat when you like hover your hand over the top of the flask. You can tell me whether you'd like to investigate the fluid any further, but I didn't assume you'd want to touch it or drink it.
Warm fluid.
Yep. Looks thick.
Gives off
it's
heat.
Orange.
How much heat does it give off?
When you're holding the flask, you can barely feel it. When you're hovering your hand over it, it's like a hot drink. Like if you hovered your hand over a freshly made coffee.
Yeah. It's not like molten lava. It's just hot. Yeah. Okay. Marshall has a suspicion what it might be. I don't know. So I know alchemist fire is a thing, but I doubt alchemist fire would be. Maybe it would. I don't know. So it could be that. But I also suspect it could be. I know there's like potions of fire breath where you get to. So I wonder if it's that. Anyway, he'll hold on to them and thinks, more things for brave Dorian to identify. Poor Dorian. He cries as he thinks what he's going to realize. And then Admand realizes he was too fucking premature with locking up the fortress. Because we still have a guy out there. We can't just leave him.
That's right.
So actually, Admand is going to reopen the fortress. And is going to head down the mountain and bring Faldor and the animals up into the fortress.
Yeah. Have Faldor roll me an animal handling check, just because this is not easy terrain to get animals up.
Sorry, I don't know what I just did. Oh, fuck.
That was his initiative. Faldor tries earnestly, but he eventually tells you that at least for today, he's not going to be able to get the animals up to the fortress, but he finds somewhere out for them to stay for the night and will follow you, if that's acceptable.
He's okay leaving them?
He spends a while finding somewhere secluded. He
Okay.
tells you that he would feel better if they kept a watch on them overnight, but he's not going to stay out here on his own.
Yeah, Admand will leave it up to him, but yeah, Admand's not in a state to camp outside the fortress. We got too many injured people that we have to keep an eye on, and unfortunately the people come before the animals in a case like this. So he's gonna, he'll invite him to come in. He'll then seal up the fortress.
Yep.
And
cool.
then, and he will, I think he'll probably, the last thing they'll do before he starts wanting to seek rest himself, if Faldor wants to help, if Billy wants to help, it'd be helpful. I think Admand's going to take the orc bodies and toss them down the ravine into the deep.
Oh, the chasm across the bridge across it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to sleep with a bunch of rotting corpses in the place. I think that could get a little unsanitary. And I thought about, okay, do we want to do it? Because it could reveal our position. But one orc escaped. So if there are a significant number of orcs left, that cat's already out of the bag. My best hope at this point is to terrorize any orcs that are left. And 20 or so floating corpses down the river might intimidate orcs to stay away. I don't know. If I was like the squad of 6 orcs left, and I'm like, we gotta take back the fortress, and I see like all of the orcs floating down the goddamn river, I'd be like, maybe not. Maybe we just maybe we start a new tribe somewhere else.
Do you throw Yarrick and Berder down as well?
Is there a reason we wouldn't want to?
I can't think of one, but I was just going to ask separately.
We took everything from them. Were we? Oh wait, let me double check. Were we given like a quest to kill those 2 specifically? I don't think so. Let's see. Yeah, I don't think. Although he does consider the idea that I think that in the off chance that other orcs attempt to retaliate against us, it might be useful to have proof that their leaders are dead. So this is kind of grim. The Admand's going to find a bag. He's going to cut the heads of the 3 leaders off, and he's going to put them in a bag.
You're going to need a separate bag for Ulf's head.
That's fine. Yeah. He'll do that. And he's going to keep those bags away from where we sleep because they're gross, and he's going to toss the rest of the bodies down the ravine.
Okay. And that includes the direwolf and Ulf?
Yep. Okay.
I'm going to need an athletics check from anyone. I'll give you advantage because people are helping to basically just simplify. Can you get Ulf from there to the chasm and chuck him over without like overly exhausting yourself? 17 is fine.
Okay, cool. And I imagine we might even get clever with it and like use wood to kind of almost make a makeshift pallet to carry, to drag him or something. If that's possible, but I'm sure we figured it out, I guess. And then we'll yeah. And I think at the end of that, he'll also, while we were doing this, point out to Faldor, because Faldor's, they're his animals. He'll point out to Faldor some of the raw goods that we could, if we wanted to, load the animals up with to bring back to town. If we can get the animals up here.
Yeah.
Alternatively, we could just make many trips back and forth and take the goods to the animals, but either way.
He tells you it's possible, but he doesn't see a ton of value among the goods, although he does think that these will be useful to feed the animals while we're here.
Okay, and I think we're gonna camp up here. I check in on the two daughters. How are they doing?
They're a little shaken up, but
yeah.
I mean, they're a little shaken up. Do you put Kratz's body in the ravine?
Do I what?
Do you put Kratz's body in the ravine?
No.
Okay. You gonna leave it there?
I am going to attempt. I guess we wouldn't leave it in the room we're sleeping in. I would eventually, I guess, move it onto a pallet very respectfully out in the hall. I think Admand's goal is going to be to give Kratz a proper burial. And I haven't decided. It would be hard to bring him all the way back to Mirabar. That's a long trip, and he might get pretty gross because no one has gentle repose. But maybe I bury him here then. But I think Admand is going to give him a proper burial, and I know that takes a while, but I think he would spend the time doing it. Not right now. He's probably pretty tired. But I think in the morning, he's probably going to spend the time doing that.
All right. Cool. Is there anything else you'd like to mention before you try and get a short rest?
I'll say that in that regard, he would look and see if there are any shovels among any of the supplies that are in this place.
There would be.
Okay. So he'll take a shovel and just put it next to Kratz, sort of, for the morning. And then, I think other than that, they have a meal. They drink everyone drinks plenty of water. I think
Unless
that
you don't have to deduct rations, because there is more than
tons of food.
Supplies.
I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Admand is going to take a Admand is going to take a couple of his iron spikes. Wait, so remind me how the door opens.
I think I think it's a handle and it opens outwards. Yeah, I remember it opens outwards from the room.
Okay, it opens outwards. I'm trying to think, how would I Oh, I've got an interesting idea. Admand is going to take an iron spike, and assuming the handle is on both sides and the handle operates, like if you turn one side, it turns the other side.
It does.
He's going to jam an iron spike into the wall or into the door in such a way that it makes it so you can't move the handle down.
Yep.
And so that would at least create quite a bit of trouble for someone trying to open the door.
Yep.
He'll do it in hopefully a way that he can take it out. But I think that he's going to do that. I'm trying to think. And then I do think he would still, even with that, maintain watches. And if it's okay, he would volunteer. Well, do we have enough people? I actually think we still do. Faldor, Admand, Billy, Istria. Is that enough people to do a full watch and have everyone rested? I think it is.
If they did 2-hour watches each and you rested for 8 hours, then yeah.
I think that's what we're going to do.
And so I'm thinking on the door, makes more sense to me to be into the door. So then you have a blocker when you push it down. In terms of getting it out, you could just try and rip it out, and I'm sure there's a chance of that. I'm not sure if you have any other tools on hand to try and get that out.
I imagine I could also hammer it down, and the leverage would probably smack it out, right?
You wouldn't actually, if you hammered it down, you wouldn't even need to take it out unless you wanted it back. But it's already pretty beat up, because if you hammered it down enough, you could just hammer it down to the point where it no longer blocks the handle.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool. All right, sounds good. All right, short rest. Would you like to attempt it?
We are going to attempt a short rest.
Okay. Can you just quickly give me the order of those 4 people on watch, just in case it becomes relevant?
Sure. I think Billy's probably the best well-rested right now, so he'll take first watch. Then Faldor, then Admand, then Istria.
Dorian would wake up amongst this, I think, because it was quite a short.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So he'll have been up and informed and be probably.
Sad.
Yeah.
He had a bit of a rivalry with Kratz, but I always saw it as a jokey. I don't think he actually didn't like Kratz. I think they kind of played off each other.
I think Dorian's a little frustrated that he was not in the fight.
Sure. Yeah. Frustrated at fate, at himself, at me.
Not at you, but I think at the moment it's at himself. There's a little bit of regret.
Yeah, I think Admand tells him, if he tells him that, Admand tells him I understand. I think I should have maybe done something different than I did, but we all knew that that was a possibility going on this kind of thing. Kratz knew it well. And I think he tries to calm him. It's not like Kratz was some random civilian that got caught up in this. He was a warrior. He went here willingly, and he's with his god now, whichever that was. I don't know. Kratz followed the god of foraging.
Nobody deserves to die in a place like this.
I agree. He did deserve better. Yeah, I think if Dorian wants to stay up during Admand's watch and talk with him about it, I think that'd be fine.
Good. Yeah.
And then yeah, are there any incidents? And like when I say watch, it's probably literally standing near the door and just listening very carefully. No one's watching anything unless something appears in the room. But yeah.
I gotcha. There are no incidents. You can all get a short rest.
Okay, fantastic. Admand is going to...
I think you will, yeah, because Billy was there, and as long as you let him cook some of the food, you will benefit from Billy's trait.
Oh, them's good eating.
Forage from you'll get a bunch of blood sausages from the orcs, and he'll cook them up.
That's one of my favorite New Vegas
Same.
feats. Or perks. I call them feats now. It's because I've played too many tabletop games. Billy has experience cooking a hearty meal. Yeah. Wait, are we eating orc? That's fucked.
No. Well, I mean that's your choice, but presumably not.
We're eating Kratz. That's what he would have wanted.
Waste not, want not.
Okay. Okay, so so everyone gets an 4 plus his proficiency. I mean, that's all of us, right? So all of us get an additional D8, and yeah. So I will start with.
So the D8. Oh, you only get the D8 if you spend hit dice. You can only use it at the end, and once you've rolled the D8, you've committed to not spending any more hit dice.
Okay, sounds good.
It's the same as the way I roll a Song of Rest for Bard.
Admand is going to start rolling a D10.
Nice.
He's going to roll another D10. I think he's going to spend his last hit die. And then he's going to use that D8. Okay, he's almost at full. He's at 43 out of 46. And then I am going to have Istria. According to this, Istria has not spent any hit dice, so that is good. We'll start with 1. Third hit dice. Jesus, Istria. Fourth hit dice. Jesus. And then the free. My God. Istria is having a rough night.
Yep. I mean, yeah, she's had a rough day, so I suppose the sleep is not particularly restful in an orcish barrack. I mean, that's also a point, actually. There are only 4 beds in here. But I guess we're already past the
Well,
short rest.
we also have
bedrolls,
so I assume we would have just moved things around so we could fit everyone in. Yeah. Okay, and then Dorian's dice.
He's a 1 hit point, not 0. For what it's worth.
Yeah. Cool. Might need it with how I've been rolling. 4. Second die.
Oh, I was nice to Dorian. I gave him D6 hit dice, did I? Okay. Not all of my NPC wizards have been so lucky.
Third.
He's rolling like they're D4s.
Fourth.
Hey.
And free D8.
3d8.
3d8. Okay, Dorian's 1 hit point away from full.
Okay. All right. All right.
Faldor's fine. Billy is fine. Yeah, it looks like the girls are fine. And then Billy has also made some leftover meals, it looks like, according to the feat. His proficiency bonus is what? +1 or +2?
I believe it's +2.
Okay, so yeah, sure, yeah, of course it would be, yeah. So +2, so he has 2 meals that will give 2 temporary hit points. And how long do they? Oh, and they last
24 hours.
Like when you eat them, they last the temporary hit points last 24 hours.
No, so temporary hit points for me last until you finish a short rest.
That's so if I take them now, it would last until the next time I take a short rest or until I lose them.
Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Okay. I'm gonna have Istria eat one because I think she'll need it. I'm just gonna put the temp HP in the red circle.
Yep.
If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's where it would normally be tracked, but and then I'm gonna have Admand take the other. I'm hungry. And then okay, and then finally, when he finishes a long rest, Billy can choose what creature has eaten food made by him during the rest. That creature gains inspiration. Oh, that's awesome. Okay, them's good eating. Okay, we then
make sure as well, by the way, to put the temporary hit points in the temporary hit point section on the character sheet, at least of Admand. I guess can't do that for Istria as well, just in case we forget.
Sounds good. I just did.
Cool.
I think Admand is at this point going to he is going to blah, 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 blah. He's going to murder everyone. Oh, also, what's the rule again on getting? You said we get a hit die back on a short rest, right? So,
yeah.
How does that work again?
So you get it at the start of the hit dice process. So, for example, if you start with 0, you'll get 1 back, and you can immediately spend it. But if you start with 5 out of 5, you won't get any back. And if you spend all 5, you'll have 0.
Okay, yeah. So no one gets anything from that. Okay, and then okay. So I think is it daylight when we wake up when the short rest is over?
No.
Oh, what time is it?
Well, it's eternal darkness. It's 8 hours after you went to sleep.
That's right. I forgot how it works here. Eternal darkness.
Your body clock is telling you it's like 6, 7?
7 a.m. or 7 p.m.?
A.m.
Okay. It's eternal darkness. No, the eternal darkness has not ended. Admand will open up this door. He'll smack off the iron pick, and he will. I think the first thing he's gonna do is he's gonna tell Dorian and Faldor to stay in this room. Istria and him are going to do a quick search of the base once again to make sure that there's. Actually, fuck it. I'm not going to have that happen again. Dorian's going to be with them. They're going to all be together, and then Faldor and Billy are going to stay in this room. We're going to do a quick search of everything. Do you want us to physically maneuver around, or are you fine just saying we did that?
We do. It's fine. Where's the rapier these days?
Fuck. I said I put it. Oh, I put it in the south. So I can go there real quick. Oh fuck! Wait. Oh, shit.
I thought you had left it in the room.
Which room?
The base room.
No. Oh my god! He just saw this. I left it in this room.
Oh yes, I do remember that vaguely now. Cool.
Yeah.
Are you gonna leave it there, or are you gonna now that Kratz is unfortunately no longer with you?
I think since Kratz is dead, Istria will take it up again, since it's not going to bother him now, hopefully. Oh Jesus, please, fucking. Okay, and then Admand and Istria, yeah, they'll search everywhere and Dorian will search everywhere to make sure that no one has snuck in and is waiting to kill us in the night. We'll check the front door to make sure that it's still locked.
Let's get a perception check from all three of you guys. I want Admand's at advantage. Admand Honag, you son of a bitch.
You son of a bitch. Oh, yeah, God damn it, Istria. No advantage for you.
7 then. Okay.
Istria and Dorian are like, Doo!
Well, they're both very shaken up from the events the day before. Admand, however, steels himself.
Admand is hardened.
Okay. Admand, I'm going to drag
I think dwarves probably also have a different view of death maybe than most people, right? They probably have a very, I don't know, Valhalla kind of view of death where it's like, well, it's not death is not the worst thing.
Yes, I'm with you on that. On
okay.
Dwarves.
Oh, what is this?
There's an orc body that was under one of you. I'm just gonna go put that back in the chasm.
Where did that go? Sorry, I was sleeping on it. That's my fault.
Oh. All right. When you're down in this passageway on your search, Admand, the other two turn around to go back, but Admand stops because you notice something. That there is a slight irregularity in this wall to the right of you. And there's actually a little, recession in the wall that you can put your hand into. And as you push against that recession, you open the wall up like a door.
Wow.
And I will reveal that to you.
This
you should be able to see it now.
Admand says, "Everyone, get ready. There might be more people in here, and we'll ready our weapons for the worst case scenario."
Do you equip your shield?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I cannot move. I think I'm jammed into a wall.
I see. Is that better?
Yep.
Cool. Are your companions good? Cool.
Yeah. Oh,
let's roll Dorian into initiative in case it becomes relevant. Great. Okay, this passageway comes to a blank wall, but it's been marked with these symbols. I don't think you would recognize what they are. They're not dwarven.
They're not dwarven.
They're crude.
What do they look like?
Let me draw some, maybe.
Draw it on one of the sticky notes.
Oh, okay.
Or no, you don't have to.
No, it's fine. Like this.
Okay. Does Dorian have any reason to believe they're magical runes, or in any way like an arcane sigil, or a rune, a rune of warding, or something like that?
Why don't you have him make an Arcana check?
$21, baby.
21. Okay. He has enough knowledge to identify, and he will tell you that they're not arcane, but they look sort of like religious or shamanistic runes. So he warns you to be careful, that they might be magical, but they're not arcane, and he's not able to identify their nature other than that he thinks they are of sort of more naturalistic magic.
With Admand's knowledge of secret doors, does he see a way to that this could perhaps be opened? You said it's just basically a flat wall.
Yeah. With doors with symbols on them, one of the most simple ways it could be opened is by pressing the right symbol. But obviously you're aware that could also be a trap.
Admand tells Dorian and Istria to back up.
Okay.
I think they're literally gonna, in case it's like a fucking fireball, I'm gonna have them go quite a bit far out, and hope that Dorian, or that if it is a trap, Admand gets his trap resistance.
Oh god, they've really backed up.
Hey man, if it is a rune of warding that casts fireball, it will fill that passage. I know that. Yeah.
Spells fill the room. In fact, if it's fireball, you might want them to back up even further than that.
Here we go. This is good. Cool.
There's a well. You can put yourself out in the well.
Fuck it. They go in the well. No, I'm just kidding.
They realize it's bottomless.
Well. Okay.
Well.
Admand is going to. Actually, he's not going to do it with his bare hand. First, he takes his, we'll say, a sword, and he kind of taps the runes.
It begins to glow. Like a magenta color.
He holds up his shield carefully, and he glows magenta. Oh, did it open?
It opens.
Hey! Admand says, we're good. And they come back.
The secret door pivots, so that it sort of has two open entranceways either side. And it reveals a chamber of finished stonework. The room is cluttered with crude furnishings. The air is hazy with the smoke of a small cooking fire. Dozens of yellowed skulls are suspended from the ceiling by fraying ropes, strung through holes punched in the bone.
Admand will do a quick search of the room, see if there's anything useful. The skulls are creepy. Watch out for those skulls.
So you don't count the skulls as something useful?
What would I do with them?
Well, the shamans clearly used them as a decoration.
I don't want to decorate with skulls.
Okay.
It's not even Halloween.
It was an option. It might be.
Oh, is it?
Who knows? No, it's like May, I think, or April, or it's early in the year anyway. You find 2 more sacks among the clutter. And they also contain exactly 160 silver pieces, just like the one Berderg was carrying.
Taxes for the bear. Why do you laugh? I think I'm right. There's no laughing matter. That doesn't work. Okay.
I just realized that door to the north isn't quite airtight. I'm gonna fix that.
It's not. I can see the cracks. I mean, I can't see anything other than stone.
Yeah. Fixed it though.
Admand collects the silver, yeah, I think that he avoids touching any of the skulls. I think they freak him out a little bit. If there's nothing else, Dorian would pay attention for anything that looks interesting or magical. But if he doesn't see anything, then I think Admand will once again weapons at the ready. Oh, it's locked.
It is locked, and I've realized something in the last few seconds that I'm going to blame on this old adventure and not on my lack of preparedness, because it didn't put it in the right place. You found a key on the shaman. I'm going to retcon that you have a key.
Where did it put it?
Where did you put it?
No, where did the adventure put it? I'm just curious.
Nowhere, actually. Nowhere.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Interesting. Okay, so I find the key. I guess I would have it then, and I will.
Yeah, sorry, I just double checked. It literally there is no mention of the key here. Cool.
I open it up.
I mean, again, if I had prepared better, I could have obviously put it somewhere.
Whoa. A little light, Istria.
Okay.
Oh my god, what kind of nightmare is this?
You see, as the ceiling soars 30 feet high in the center of this impressive chamber. The walls are carved with images of dwarves at their forges.
This is where the Baron lives. Holy shit.
2 large stone doors exit to the north.
Right, you said we never found the forge. Shit. Okay, yeah.
Several old skeletons lie scattered near the northern door, scorched and burned. A gate wrought of iron stands in the western wall. In the center of the floor, a natural rift descends sharply, with dozens of stone steps leading down into the darkness. You can hear the distant sound of running water, and a curious buzzing coming from far below. And that, I think, is where we're going to leave off the session this week.
Dungeon is way bigger! Oh my god!
I was so happy last week when you were sort of thinking that this was the end of the dungeon, knowing that you would hopefully find.
Yeah,
I was curious. Yeah, I was curious to see if you'd just go on, because you had a pretty successful adventure already. But indeed, there is more to Kundrakar than you have seen so far.
But we've lost someone. Can we even defeat the buzzing noise? Ah! What is the buzzing?
Yes, you have lost someone, but you also defeated Berderg the Shaman this session, which was a very impressive feat. I'm going to get your XP. Did you have fun today?
I did, but I'm sad.
Of course.
I do hold Dorian responsible. I haven't told him, but privately.
Gotcha.
Privately, I'll forever resent him. No, I'm just kidding. No, I resent myself. I should have considered healing, or stabilizing him. But it's tough. It's really tough in those situations because
there's a chance you all died.
There's a chance, exactly. There's a chance that if I don't keep doing damage to Berderg, that we all die. And so a lot of times in those situations, you kind of have to. I think that's how parties get into TPKs, is that it's harder for parties to think in very brutal, cutthroat, utilitarian ways where they're like, yeah, I know that we should heal my friend, but I'm going to let you die because if I do, we have a better chance of all of us surviving. Whereas in most of the time in parties, it's like, oh, my friend went down. I need to help him. And then that gets you into a spiral of doom where you're spending more actions getting each other up than you are actually dealing with the threat. And I
find that like that's totally true. And also like, and I find like this is more with new players, but even with experienced players, they often feel like, if any damage has taken place, I need to heal you. When the way 5e works is that's so resource intensive that most of the time healing someone that isn't unconscious is probably not worth it because you can't keep up with damage output through healing in 5th edition.
Yeah, no, not usually, unless you have someone that's really built for that. High level cleric or something.
Life cleric, yeah.
But I think I will say, when we recruited Memory, cleric is high on the list of desirable candidates. A cleric or a druid or someone that has
shaman.
Or a shaman. Get an orc shaman.
Yeah.
Bring fucking resurrect Berderg. Wait, no, I was specifically told Berderg doesn't have healing. She's useless to me.
Yeah, but undead Berderg might.
Undead Berderg might have more connections with necromantic magic.
A necromancer is just an incredibly late healer.
Yeah, I've heard that joke before. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Okay.
XP. Everyone. So the 4 main party members today gets 250 XP. Billy can get 100 because he was in the dungeon for most of the session. How many sessions have you spent in? It's 4 now, right? In Kundrakar? Or is it 3?
I
think it's 4.
I think it might be 4.
Yeah. You enjoying the dungeon so far?
Oh yeah, I love dungeons.
Great.
They're my favorite part of the game.
We picked a good campaign then.
Well, yeah. I mean, you told me this was going to be more dungeon crawly, and yep. I mean, I'm not necessarily saying that this is the word of God. It's just a me thing. For me, the mechanics of these D20 combat RPGs, D&D, Pathfinder, even DCC, and more old school, like they all, to me, come from the lineage of D&D 0, of original D&D, and that sort of set of mechanics are optimized for my enjoyment around dungeons, right? They always have been. I enjoy other things too, but to me the game always feels the most complete when you're in a dungeon run. I think it forces you to think in interesting ways, in ways that other parts of the game either don't allow for or just don't pressure you to think in those kinds of ways. Like thinking, okay, we've beaten the enemies in this dungeon. How do we secure ourselves against a possible incursion? Like, I like those kinds of decisions. I like big dungeons where you can't just go home in the middle of it. You have to camp out and you have to figure out how are we going to tackle this over the course of many days. So I like everything about dungeon runs. I think they're a lot of fun. I have met some players because I don't know if you've noticed this, but a lot of players, especially ones that I think discovered the game through podcasts and live plays like Critical Role, obviously, a lot of newer players tend to be very narrative in their focus, and I've met players that think dungeons are kind of boring. Which I always tell them they're wrong. I can tell them they're objectively wrong, but they always seem to think that that's that I'm belittling them.
Do they say that just in general, or do they say that while they're playing a dungeon? Out of curiosity.
Well, often it's been my experience that when I run these players through an actual dungeon, they like it.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of it is based on ignorance.
Yeah.
And or having been run a dungeon by someone who's bad at it. I don't know what it is, but it's something I've experienced before. And I will hear there's something I've heard from players in person or online. Like when I say online, I mean I've like read forum posts from people that'll be like, "Oh, I really like the narrative aspects of the game, and so I'm not as into things like combat or these sorts of things." And I always think that actually, to me, role play is the most interesting when it is a product of drama, intrigue, violence.
Completely agree.
Right? Like there's a lot of I've known a lot of people that like to do what they call like what do you call it? Cozy role playing, where it's like, they're role playing like they live in a village, and they barely fight anything, and very little bad things ever happen. And I'm not saying every campaign needs to be like grimdark, but I do think that, to me, the most interesting role play doesn't come out of like, oh, how's the weather? It comes out of desperate conflict. Yeah. And so, yeah. And I also further think that really good role play can come out of dungeon crawls. But I'm such a lover of dungeon crawls that honestly the role play aspect of it, like, yeah, you can do really interesting role play in a dungeon crawl, but I just love a dungeon crawl as a game experience.
Mechanical exercise, yeah.
Yeah.
Cause like you said you started with it. I co-sign pretty much everything you said, but like I think the most important thing is that it so maps on to the mechanics of Dungeons and Dragons, because if you think about the most compelling gameplay loops in D&D, it's defeating enemies, gaining experience, and gaining loot. And the dungeon does that so well. I also find that like a lot of players in a sandboxy open worldy game like Dungeons and Dragons really suffer from setting their own goals and choice paralysis. In a dungeon, you could the goal, if you want it to be, the goal can just be, let's get to the next room and see what's in it, and it's so straightforward and simple, and you don't have to. It fixes a lot of those problems. It's like, okay, I can't decide what we want to do today. Go open the door, find out.
Yeah, no, for sure, I agree. No, players are, a lot of players get pretty freaked out about choices, or just like I think groups get into, I don't know, like I play with a lot of people that are, I think, too polite and too worried about being too assertive, and so like players will not want to be the one that tells the others like, no, I really want to fucking do this, guys.
Yeah.
And so what ends up happening is hours of polite discussion about, oh, we could do this, and it's like, well, let's do something. Let's pick a thing to do, and hey, we can take turns, right?
Yes.
Like I can be the one to pick something this week, and you can be the one to pick something next week. But let's not do this whole committee to death where we just slowly kind of like, well, we could do that, or we could do that, we could do that, we could do that, we could do that, and it's like, oh my god, just it's why often I actually am not opposed, and I've told parties that I want them to try this before, and often they kind of cringe at it. I'm not opposed to there being a player leader, like a leader of the party that ultimately makes these calls. And you have to pick the right person. It has to be someone that everyone really gets along with and respects out of game and in game. But like there is an advantage to having someone that just makes a call and just says, guys, we're doing this, right?
I've found some of the most successful stuff has been in, especially with long-term groups who you're going to play multiple campaigns with, is that leader role can rotate. And I think that, this campaign is kind of centered around this guy, and then, it moves on and rotates around. I think you're completely right. In narrative-focused games, because, and it depends on the group. Some groups will be fine with not achieving anything, but I find most D&D players want to achieve goals. That's part of the fun of the game is setting goals and achieving them. And I think the most successful way to do that is having the spotlight on someone so that they can be direct and they can achieve things, but having that spotlight rotate. And if you've had a good session 0 and you've got a good party, then actually, while Kevin's off doing his quest, that actually supports the whole party goal anyway, right? That's leading into the whole party goal anyway, so I completely agree.
Well, and so, yeah, I think there's narrative spotlight, but I also just mean like literally sometimes in dungeons, I've had parties go, oh, do we open this door or that door? And they'll argue about it. And I think it's sometimes helpful to have a player that's just like, okay, we're going to we're going to open the left door.
Yeah.
And people are like, oh, but we could open the right. I know we could open the right, but we're opening the left.
So with that situation where it's like that, I think depending on, again, it depends on the group, but my like as a GM, if they're having that discussion, I tend to find they're enjoying it, and I just leave them to it. Personally, like that's my experience.
It depends. I have seen groups get into so much of that discussion that I used to have that view that if they're discussing stuff, they're probably having fun. But I have had groups come to me after, and they're like, Marshall, I just feel like we are doing nothing but discussing shit. And so, like, sometimes I've had groups that they get, once again, they get paralyzed by these discussions to a point where they don't know how to do anything else. Anyway, I think...
And in that situation, it's a good idea to have somebody to make a call and just move on. Yeah.
Or something else I've done recently that does really help, if you don't have a leader who's making a call, because maybe you don't have a person in the group that is suited for that role, I will just put them in. I will just force them to make a call. So I will say, you have 10 minutes, make a call. Or you have 5 minutes, make a call. And at the end of that 5 minutes, or at the end of that 10 minutes, if you haven't made a call, something bad is going to happen, or I'm going to make a call for you, or there's some sort of consequence for not making the decision in that time frame. And that always works. Yeah. That has always worked, because once people have a ticking clock and they don't have this infinite expanse of time, they find themselves able to make decisions much more quickly.
And that's another situation where where dungeon mechanics, I think, help reinforce the fun, because it's very easy, very fair. I would have no problem saying, okay, you've got X amount of time, and at the end of that, I'm going to make an encounter roll. And one of the things some of my players have balked at in the past is, like, they hate it. They really hate it sometimes when I say time spent discussing is happening in the game. They're like, no, we're on pause. I'm like, no, we're never on pause.
No. Oh yeah, I don't understand that at all. And I sometimes I have to tell my players, like, they'll be in front of an NPC and they'll be like,
yes,
I mean, we could lie to him. We could murder him. I'm like, he's right here. And they're like, oh, we're not actually discussing this. I'm like, how are you discussing
How are you communicating this? Yeah.
How would you possibly, like, you need to
we did it before.
Away.
Well, you didn't, though.
You didn't. Because how could you? You didn't know about this guy.
Yeah.
That stuff. So in Foundry, which I run a lot of my games on, there's a module that literally lets you track time. And so what I do is I have it every second that passes, 4 seconds pass in game. And I don't have to have it run all the time. I can choose not to. I can choose to manually move time forward. But when they're talking, I will just have that timer running. And it'll be like, if they've been talking for 5 minutes, then 20 minutes have passed in the dungeon. And that means that 2 encounter rolls could have happened. Yep. And you know what I mean? So it keeps things lively. Anyway, okay. So I have added the XP. Is the
great.
That's cool. I've added the 250 and the 100.
Are we good for next week? Same. Oh, actually, are we good for next week first? Next week is the 23rd.
Yeah, that's a great question. I am good for next week. I will not be good for the 30th because that is Thanksgiving weekend in the United States, and I will be with my family. But then should be good the week after that. So, but yeah, we will be good on the 20th. We will be good next week on the 23rd.
Cool. And as always, on the 30th week, if you want to do something at a different day, just let me know. Okay. For next week, I think the football's back. So would you be good for half an hour earlier again?
Yeah, probably. Yeah, should be good.
Let me know if there's a problem with that or anything else. Otherwise, thank you all for watching. Hope you all enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace out.